Hey everybody, it's almost Skyliner time. We've got everything you need to know about the Walt Disney World Skyliner that's going to be opening really soon. Let's get started. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we've been watching the Disney Skyliner take shape for years now. Construction has been pretty pervasive around all of Disney World, with towers to support the new transportation system popping up literally right next to some of the rooms at Caribbean Beach Resort. Hey, at least they gave away free pins for your troubles for a while. But in just a few weeks, guests at Caribbean Beach Resort, Art of Animation, and Pop Century will be able to take advantage of this new super fast way to get to and from the parks. This is going to be a big game changer. So what is it? This is a new transportation option to get Disney World Resort guests to and from the parks. It's a gondola system, similar to a ski lift or the Disney Skyway that used to be in Magic Kingdom. So these aren't your tiny two-seater ski lifts, though. They are big enclosed pods featuring some of your favorite Disney characters. We've seen Coco, Chip 'n Dale, Toy Story, Beauty and the Beast, as well as attractions like Haunted Mansion represented on those gondolas. And it opens September 29th. It will connect 4 resorts to both Hollywood Studios and Epcot, providing guests with more options than just buses to the parks. Now, they have these in multiple other locations around the world, so you can actually find these gondola systems operating in London, several other locations, so they exist. This isn't the first time anybody's seeing this sort of transportation option, but it is the first time we're seeing this kind of expansive system put into place in Walt Disney World. Okay, where does it go? There are 5 Skyliner stations. These are located at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Epcot's International Gateway, Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, Disney's Art of Animation Resort and Pop Century Resorts, and Disney's Riviera Resort. So these stations are themed for their locations with styling that matches that of each location. So the Skyliner station at Disney's Hollywood Studios, for example, uses shades of turquoise that match the park's entrance. Now there are going to be 2 lines, technically, quote unquote. The Hollywood Studios line, which goes through Caribbean Beach Resort and ends at Art of Animation and Pop Century, and the Epcot line, which will travel past Riviera Resort and end at Caribbean Beach Resort. So CBR is sort of a hub for both lines. Note that Disney has said the stations at the end of the lines will not function like the monorail in so much as riders cannot opt to remain in their cabins. They will be asked to disembark, and they'll need to get in line to reboard if they want to continue their rides in the opposite direction. So the Skyliner isn't a round trip situation. You can't get on it like you get on the monorail at the Magic Kingdom and ride all the way around to the Magic Kingdom again. So we'll watch to see how and if this policy is enforced when the Skyliner opens. Caribbean Beach Resort will serve as the main hub to connect the Hollywood Studios and Epcot lines. So this is kind of your transportation and ticket center, basically. Kind of function that way, where if you're going to switch to the other line, you've got to do it at Caribbean Beach Resort. So guests traveling from Art of Animation and Pop, which share a single station between the 2 resorts in Hourglass Lake, will need to disembark at Caribbean Beach Resort and board the Epcot line to travel to the International Gateway entrance. But they can stay on board to continue straight to Hollywood Studios, and we'll confirm that as soon as the Skyliner opens, but all signs point to that being confirmed at the moment. So after leaving Caribbean Beach Resort, the Epcot line will stop at the new Riviera Resort, opening December 16th this year, and then will continue on to International Gateway, which is an end-of-the-line stop, and all guests will need to disembark. Now, all the stations and lines are now in the My Disney Experience app, so you can take a look at where each of the resort stations are located and request a room in a building closer to the Skyliner if you want easier access to park transportation. All right, let's talk about travel time. So Disney has reported that the Skyliner system can operate as fast as 11 miles per hour and that travel times will vary from 5 to 15 minutes depending on where you're going. So there's no word at this point if travel time includes transfers or other factors that might slow or stop the cabins. So we'll have to give the Skyliner some carefully observant rides when it begins operation and see how those times are going to hold up in real life. But right now, I think each leg of your journey will be between 5 and 15 minutes. Now, the gondolas won't come to a complete stop in the stations in most instances, at least not like the monorail, which pauses to wait for guests to load before it continues. They're going to slow down for guests to board at the station, although they are able to stop completely to accommodate the ECV and wheelchair guests. So a similar example would be maybe if you're getting onto Buzz Lightyear or you're getting onto the Haunted Mansion. Those are Omnimover attractions. They're going to keep going and you just sort of hop in to a slow-moving vehicle. But if they need to come to a complete stop, they can do that as well. All right, talking about capacity capacity. So the Skyliner gondola cabins are designed to accommodate 10 passengers seated on the fixed wooden benches on either side of the cabin. The Skyliner can also accommodate wheelchairs, ECVs, and strollers. When these are in place in the gondola, it appears the capacity lowers to 6 passengers. So since the system is continuously loading, we expect that lines will only get long during peak times, holidays, park closing, park opening, and since the lines only service a few hotels as opposed to buses, for example, there likely won't be as many non-hotel guests traveling, at least after initial excitement wears off. All right, here's something I know you guys are concerned about. Let's talk about the weather. So one variable sure to impact Skyliner operations is the weather in Central Florida. In addition to the warm climate there, Florida's signature pop-up thunderstorms will likely result in the Skyliner stopping operations when conditions like heavy winds and lightning exist. Now, during the testing phase, we've seen gondolas stopped during periods of heavy rain, lightning, and wind. And although we can't be certain the stoppages were solely due to weather, it seems likely that the specific conditions will result in the gondolas ceasing operations at times. And remember that in preparation for Hurricane Dorian, gondolas were completely removed from the lines and stored in the Caribbean Beach Resort station. So Disney monitors storms coming into the area, so those gondolas will most likely be off the lines or at least stopped well before a lightning storm approaches. And we're pretty certain Disney World has taken all possibilities into consideration with guest safety as their top priority. But that's something we're going to have to watch. Knowing how many thunderstorms, lightning storms, and potential lightning storms Disney World sees every year, when exactly will these gondolas be operating? You can kind of think about and compare it to maybe when Test Track operates. We know that Test Track doesn't operate when there's lightning within a certain distance of that attraction. So it'll probably be a similar sort of thing for the Skyliner. Next thing, a lot of people are asking questions about the air conditioning or lack thereof. So there is no AC on the Skyliner gondolas. So this new transportation option will not be giving you that satisfying cool blast of AC as you travel back to your hotel room at the end of a long day. And one of the biggest concerns we hear from DFB readers and followers is how the non-air conditioned gondolas are going to prevent guests from overheating in the tropical climate of Central Florida. Now, according to Disney, the gondolas are fitted with cross ventilation and feature reflective windows in an attempt to keep the heat at bay. We are excited to see how this works in practice, and with the system opening at the tail end of the hot summer season, we'll get an idea pretty quickly. But fact of the matter is these things are moving at 11 miles per hour, so you're going to get a pretty decent breeze if you're going along at that sort of clip. That said, sometimes there's nothing you want more than to get in that air-conditioned bus or air-conditioned monorail when it's so hot outside, so we'll see how that goes. Now, other things to note about the Skyliner. So the Skyliner will cruise about 60 feet above the ground, so it might not be the best choice if you're afraid of heights. Also, if you're a little on the fence, know that the steel cables holding these gondolas up are super strong and super reinforced. Disney's been testing the system since February to make sure things are running smoothly. And it's also worth mentioning that if your gondola should ever get stuck above Hourglass Lake at Art of Animation or Pop Century, they have a barge built just for the unloading of passengers who happen to be stuck over the lake. Now, the Skyliner is definitely an innovative and a little controversial new transportation option. So we want to hear from you guys. Are you picking out which characters you want on your gondola, or are you going to stick to the transportation that's a little closer to the ground? We want to hear what you have to say. Let us know if you're excited to ride, and don't forget, those cast members actually get to preview the gondolas very soon. So there are cast member previews that are going to start going on really quickly here, so we'll be able to hear from them soon as well. All right, everybody, that's the Skyliner. Let us know your questions in the comments. We'll try to get those answered. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.